Recording in progress.
Hello, hello, my beautiful women. Hello, hello, hello. I hope you can see me. Yeah, I think you can see me now. Okay, so we have a few of you in here. This is going to be a super small group. And today I put an extra live in today because there are actually 4 lives on this course, but I really wanted to put in an extra live just to kind of introduce the energy, introduce what we're going to be working with for the next 4 weeks. And I just can't wait to get this party started with you. It's so much fun once we start working with these things. And what I do in the blueprints is I give you my energy. I give you my blueprint of what I know, of what I've learned through my life. So all of the things that I have learned up until this day today, that is a blueprint that is transferred into you as you do this course. And that's what all the blueprints are about. So this blueprint is not only money, it's also love. It's you creating a life that you love. It's you creating energy in the way that you want to do that. So we're going to be working with all of these different things. And I just wanted to say hi and just welcome you all. And I know that there is so many shadows on money, so many shadows. So I really want, if you have anything in the chat that you want to share around any shadows that you have, please put them in. Maybe you have stories about someone that was evil that had a lot of money, or someone in your family that was really greedy, and all of these things. And when you do this course, the Money Blueprint 2.0, you get the Money Blueprint 1.0. So I hope you have gotten that info. Otherwise, PM me so that you can get that course. Because in that course, I take you through the Tao, I take you through the quantum, I take you through the different ways of thinking about money, and also about being grabby, and how sometimes when we want money, we can get greedy and we can get grabby, and then we actually push the energy away. It's also using tantric energy. So for example, when you have an orgasm, as a woman, you can tap into energies and you can pull in manifestations. So this is something that I talk about in the Money Blueprint 1.0. So please watch that. Otherwise, let me know in the chat if you have any shadows around money. I would love to hear them. I used to have a lot of shadows on money, and I would feel less than. So if someone had money, I would feel that they were better than me, or wiser, or more worth in some way. And there's really a difference between being rich, like having lots of money, and then feeling wealthy. So feeling wealthy is what I want to take you through, because feeling wealthy can be so many things. It can be a simple thing like eating a carrot, or eating a cake, or drinking water and feeling wealthy. So there are many parts in the world where it's not easy to get water, tap water. In Denmark, we can just drink tap water. And that is actually something that you can tap into by drinking water from the tap. You're going to be tapping into feeling wealthy. So whatever it is that makes you feel wealthy, maybe it's the clothes that you wear, maybe it's the coffee that you drink, or the water that you drink, or it's a feeling, or it's like I'm seeing one of you has a lot of guitars in your background. That's, being wealthy in guitar and music. That's wealthy. So, and I'm actually getting goosebumps now. That's my sign of truth. So when we can tap into, I am wealthy because my voice is beautiful, or I have lots of music in my life, that's wealthy for me. If you can tap into wealth, you tap into that feeling of abundance and that I have enough. And that is the feeling that we want to feel when we are manifesting money or love or whatever that thing is that you want to manifest. I don't see anything in the chat yet, so I'm just going to keep talking. And I am going to take you through the 5 dimensions in this course. This is not something I've been teaching before. I never teach the same things 2 times because my energy is like an artist. Like I can't do the same thing 2 times in a row. So many people ask me like, oh, when are you going to do this again? Like I can't do these dates. When are you going to do this again? And I always say like, I don't do the same things twice because it's just not possible for me to do the same things 2 times. So even though there's something called the Money Blueprint 1.0, this is a complete different course, complete different energy. And I love working with the energy. That's the fun thing for me, is when we get the energy moving and I start learning more about you, I can tap into your energy and I will be with you in that energy for the next month. And I'll be flipping the coin and I'll be helping you flipping shadows and seeing where the energy is kind of going down and where you get energy that goes up. Okay, so we have one in the chat here. For me, money is greed. Yeah, one of so many shadows. Yeah, and that's beautiful that you know that, because when you know that's my shadow, is that money is greedy, then we can actually work with that. So what is greed? Greed is more for me, less for you. And of course, we're not gonna get a lot of money if that is what you believe, that money is greedy, and that I am greedy when I want money for my skills or my services. If I feel greedy every time I get paid, then that's not a great energy, because that is something that other people are going to be tapping into, because that's the blueprint that you have now. And this is like a real thing. So a lot of us knows this. I know this. I have seen so many greedy people. And so for me, going into feeling what is greed, that is more for me and less for you. And it's maybe also not very loving in reality. So I really like that love is an abundance. Love is an energy that is in your heart. And the more you can feel that energy, it overflows. That energy overflows. And there's a meditation in the Money Blueprint 1.0 where you can work with this. And it's the same with money. When we start tapping into how lucky am I that I have my soul purpose, how lucky am I that I have this code that I'm working with, and the code is your spirit code. So you want to ask yourself, what would I die for? What is my code? And when you can express that code, that's an energy that's coming out of you. It's like smoke. It's coming out of you like a lighthouse. And when you can let that energy come out, that energy is a lot of time worth. All the time that you use on your spiritual purpose, all the time that you use on working with your path, that's a lot of energy worth, because that's time. And we want to get paid for the time that we use. So every time you go deeper into your spiritual process and work with that and meditate and all these things, that's a part of your job. It's your job to do this. And I'm seeing some of you writing down notes, and it's beautiful when you start writing notes as I speak, because then you're moving energy. And so we really want to feel that overflowing energy, which is the energy of wealth. It's the opposite of greed, because greed is more for me. Wealth is more for you, actually. So what I also try to do is I try to overshare. I overshare a lot, and I sometimes, overshare on Instagram or with people that come in contact with me. I give, and that's my job, is to give. The more I can give, the better. And I don't think always, okay, I'm going to share this so I'll get money, because I never know where the money is going to come in. So you want to think of money also as streams of water, that we can have many different ways of getting water or energy into our world. So it's not only maybe one thing you're getting paid for, like your job. Maybe you sell an old sweater on some online place, or you have an old sofa and you want to get rid of that, and you get a few dollars in or a few kronas in there. That's money. And we want to celebrate every single little penny, because the universe doesn't know the difference between 1 krona and 1,000 krona and 1 million krona. It's just one. So we're going to be working with sharing all the wins. And that's what I want you to do in the Voxer group, is to share any win that you have. If you got a free coffee, if you got a smile on the street, if you found 1 krona or 1 euro on the ground, that's a win. And we want to share every single win, and we want to celebrate every single win, because the celebration is actually where your spirit starts to open. And that's sort of the opposite of greed. It's seeing, where do I have lots of abundance? So for me, my abundance in my home is my view. I love my view, and it's so beautiful, and I feel very abundant. I feel so wealthy when I look out at that. I don't own it. It's not mine. It's not my nature, but I get to look at it, right? And it's the same with money, that when we like, if it's like my money, my money, my money, it gets sort of greedy. And we want to see the abundance in it and like, wow, how wonderful is that that's in my world and I can let it go and something new will come in. So that flowing energy is what we want. It's like the breath. You take a breath in and you take a breath out. And you never think when you take a breath out, you never think, oh no, is there going to be another in-breath for me? Of course there's going to be one. And it's the same of courseness that you want to have in your money energy. So we have a few more sharings in here. I'm just going to have a sip of tea. In my family, there never seemed to be enough money. We always had to work hard to accumulate more, but there's never enough. Also from my grandparents, there's a general lack of money and what does it say? Disdain, pain maybe, of spending money on luxury, pleasure, and education. Okay, and you're really working through these things because you have been taking different courses and I know that you've done a lot of spiritual work, which is luxury and pleasure and education. So you're really going against that blueprint and not believing it, but going against it. And what we're going to be working with are the blocks. We're going to be removing all these blocks with different meditations that I'll be sharing, previous life stuff, this life stuff, ancestor stuff. And we're going to be working with our cycle and all kinds of magical witchy things. We have another sharing here. My grandfather was naive with money, so my family ended in poverty because of this. Yeah, so this is a huge wound, right? So that wound will be implemented in your DNA. It's going to be in your body system that it's so painful that this was like a tragedy that happened because he was naive with money. It was a huge tragedy. And that when you are born through that DNA, that blueprint is with you. So your job is to do the opposite, not be naive with it, but be very, not controlling, but just be very wise around it and really know like, where do I want to put my energy? Okay, so money and energy is the same. Where do I want to put my energy? And where will that energy be protected? Because obviously this is a story where he was naive, but it was also because he lacked that protection that protected that energy. And when we start working with protection, what is my protection? Then we actually start working with that blueprint. So for you, I would really recommend that you do the kidney breath because it really gives you that feeling of bodily protection. And when you can feel, I feel protected, not only with money, but with my energy, then you start working with that blueprint and you can actually call him in. So you said he was naive, which makes me think that he's not living in a human body anymore. Is that correct? Yeah. So yeah, cool. So he will actually be working with you from the other side, which is so beautiful because our ancestors, all the mistakes that they did, when they die and they pass to the other side, they're like, oh my God, I made a huge mistake. How can I fix this? That's really what they want because they come into consciousness when they're going to the other side or gone to the other side. And when they come into that consciousness, then they really want to help the human beings that are in the ancestral line. They really want to help because they're like, oh my God, I made a mistake. I really want to help. So that's a huge gift actually, that he is actually going to be helping you unblocking these things. And this is what we're going to be doing in our cycle work, that we're going to be pulling in and asking for help and letting them support us in different ways. But I really recommend to do the kidney breath to feel more safe, because that's a huge issue, huge wound for very many people, is that money makes us feel safe. And if we don't have them, we feel unsafe. And we want to come into the frequency of feeling safe, of feeling held, because that is where the magic is going to be. And then you're going to be pulling in that money on your soul purpose. So I think that's a really, really beautiful start of that energy.